All right. Hashtag riding the storm out. Hashtag Milton 2024. P.S. Kobe was a no good, dirty rapist.
Oh my God.
So I know Robert Salah was escorted out, so he couldn't say bye to his team. Lane Kiffin couldn't say bye to his team because they were gone. All right. So they
were already on the bus.
The bus left. All right.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Gentlemen, how we doing? Buddy.
Little big boy rattle there.
I think so. Welcome to the Juice Boy Show, guys. It's October. We got so many sports going on. Three brothers-in-law, so stupid. Started a weekly sports podcast over a year ago. We are not slowing down. We're like a turtle, like going slow and steady. Yeah.
And we'll win the race.
Is there a race? That's fizzled.
The race
That's
of
fizzled.
life.
Sorry, guys. Shows drop every Friday. Keep the energy. Be sure to follow on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, all the fun pieces of sports content, guys. The show's getting sloppier than the entire Jets organization.
Please don't say that.
That's not possible.
Please don't say that.
Oh.
Not even slightly.
You're saying we run a tighter ship than the Jets organization?
That
Which is really saying something.
The first one was a shit show, but by second we did better.
Yeah.
We did better than Woody Johnson has ever done.
Wow. I will take that. I am the third code. I got Juice Boy Joe, Mr. Pulp Pelletier. We're the Juice Boys, guys. Brothers-in-law. We love each other. Can you believe it? Go find yourself brothers-in-law to start a freaking sports podcast with. I don't think we talked about how cool that is. There's no one else in the world who did that. Go find yourself some in-laws that you like.
I don't know, but
Episode 62, what are we drinking this week? So many sports. Baseball playoffs. Hockey started. College football bonanza. NFL's rock and rolling. Like we said, Bronny James. We going to talk about Bronny James? Who knows?
Yeah.
Tune in.
He exists. That's all
Joey,
we're talking.
what are you
That's
drinking,
it.
my friend? What are you...
Well, I blame it all on my roots. I'm not wearing boots right now, but I am drinking Irish whiskey. Okay,
Boy.
Prop on number 12. I love it. I love Irish whiskey. I got a little bourboned out, so I'm switching it up.
Okay.
Yeah, switching it up. Got to change. You got to mix up the palate. Got to mix up the palate, and then
Really keeping it guessing. I made the massive leap from this kind of whiskey to that kind of whiskey.
yeah, a darker whiskey to a lighter whiskey. So
Boy.
got to mix it up.
Really
Your palate's
shocking
like,
the
thanks,
system.
Joe. Thanks. Yeah.
Yeah, and
appreciate
then I
that.
just saw this article the other day. Beer Advocate put it out, and they said the best beer in America is actually Sierra Nevada Pale Ale. I've said that before. I've had it on this show, and so now I'm just drinking it again just to be like, yeah, I agree. It is one of the best beers in America. I wouldn't say it's the best.
Did they
but
name
it's up
the
there.
best or one of?
Yeah, I think it's because of like price, availability, everything. I think it's just like the best beer you can get.
Fellas, I had to bust out something special. I was thinking about this today. Like, you two have known me for the better part of a decade and have watched me root for some of, if not the worst Husker teams in history
I think the worst.
that have taken place in the last 10 years. And suddenly my
We've enjoyed
Huskers-
watching you watch it.
I bet. Yeah, I bet. I know rooting for my pain is the only thing that gets you up in the morning, McCoy.
Yes.
But no, all of a sudden my Huskers are a very respectable 5-1. They were one bad knuckleball field goal from 6-0. Like,
Yep.
spectacular start to the season. They're putting together enough to get the job done. They're about to go into a slog of the mid to late season that is just a bandsaw on their schedule. But right now, I am decked out head to toe in a bunch of brand new Husker swag I bought in Lincoln this weekend.
He was
And
there.
I am celebrating that win over the Rutger Scarlet Knights with some
So it's
ball
not an
game
S? Wait, it's not
14.
Rutgers?
No, they lost the S. You don't get that if you
It's
don't
just
win.
Rutger?
Wait, so I won. I was right?
There's
No,
no
it
way.
is actually Rutgers. I'm just screwing
Okay,
it.
I was just gonna say,
Oh,
there's no.
I thought
way.
I was grammatically correct, which has never happened in the history of my life.
It's a guy's last name.
Is it?
Yeah, it was an American Revolutionary War like hero.
And
So,
they're also
like,
the birthplace of college football. Lot of historic things going on.
and it's the
not
it's
a
the
whole
State
lot going on
University
right
in
now.
New Jersey. I don't know why it's not New Jersey State. It's Rutgers.
But I'm drinking 14-year-old Balvenie Scotch. So I'm joining Joey across the Atlantic.
Or is it peaty?
No, it's
Okay,
more
good.
of like a kind of sweet, spicy guy.
I don't like the peat.
You had to change for your palate, right? You had to change it up.
Yeah. Had to keep myself guessing
Yeah.
from where my whiskey was born.
I'm drinking a little old-fashioned mixture, guys, from our mother-in-law. Also, the doctor of pulp texted us
Oh,
that he found some Dickel in his pantry. So we were over there for the Royals and the Chiefs game. It was electric. They bought a second TV just to put next to the other TV.
That's right.
It was
That's
fantastic.
awesome. Yeah,
But
they
before he
bought
got
the TV,
there,
they didn't just move one.
no. They purchased a new
They didn't
TV.
have another TV. They only
I
have
think
one.
they did, but they needed another purchase. He called me saying, "Hey, I'm setting up this TV we didn't need next to the other TV. Can you help me out?" So it was incredible. All to say, he wasn't home yet when I got there. I had a little of his dickle. There's nothing better than
Little brother dickle.
sucking someone else's dickle. You know what I mean? Licking or sipping. Sorry, not sucking.
Sipping the dickle.
Sipping.
Yeah.
Sipping
Okay.
other dickle.
They got a lot less salacious the second time around.
All right, guys, we have a sports docket. We got Squeeze of the Week, Moron Mountain. We got a big big potato picks at the end, so stay tuned, guys. We're rocking and rolling. But first, the hottest news of the week. Robert Salah went into work this week, was asked to leave the building immediately. He was fired by Woody Johnson. The more you read about it, it was
Escorted out.
It was all
escorted out by security, bro.
It was all out of the blue for at least
No
Robert
team
Salah.
meeting, nothing.
Nothing.
Just like a guy with a gun walking
out.
one pace behind you.
And it was reported he wasn't fighting, but he was playing with Woody Johnson. He's like, I got the top 5 defense. I'll get rid of Hackett. I'll do something. This doesn't make sense. So he was playing with Woody Johnson. Woody Johnson, one of the worst owners probably in sports history.
Oh,
He
absolutely.
said, nah, it's week 5. I think next week was their bye. Aaron Rodgers is running the show. Should he run the show? I mean, that's a loaded question for you two people. So what do we think of the Jets organization right now?
I mean, is it worth just saying
Yes.
the Jets are who we thought they were?
Oh
I
my
think this
God.
show had it on lock.
I said it
from
the
the get-go.
whole time. And I called it. I said, Aaron Rodgers has turned into LeBron. He's just going to pull and get whatever the hell Aaron Rodgers wants. And then he'll go on Pat McAfee and deny anything and say that he wasn't any part of it. Oh, bullshit, Aaron Rodgers. He wanted to demote or fire Nathaniel Hackett because Nathaniel Hackett is one of the worst coaches ever.
Terrible.
And
Keep his name out of your mouth.
yeah, don't talk about my coach and his whoopee, his bestie, like it's just I don't understand this relationship. Aaron Rodgers comes in and and what did he say? Get rid of Salah. It's just and Aaron Rodgers gets what he wants, and that's what happened. I don't care what he says. That is exactly what happened.
He's also been playing terrible. He's not great. He had 3 picks in
not
London.
Awful.
good. He's not good anymore. You tore your Achilles at 39 years old, and when you should have been with your team building a rapport, you went to freaking Egypt. All right, so it's just like this guy. He's got nothing. Now they're gonna get Devontae Adams probably by the end of this show. You know, they'll bring him in. All right,
I think that's
and,
even funnier part because he's not going to save him.
No, they have Garrett Wilson. So I mean, Garrett Wilson's going to automatically become maybe the best 2 like we've ever seen. All right, but it's just that he's gonna make that happen. He got rid of his coach. He's gonna get his player, and they're still gonna suck. Like they're still gonna suck. And Devontae Adams is still gonna be pissed.
Is like Devontae, if you do that, like what are you doing? You're like a home buyer who approached the house, found it, thought that it was really nice. Then it burned down, and you're like, well, I'll still buy it. Like, it's all right.
He
Like,
did the
what
same
are
thing
you-
with the Raiders. He's like,
you
I
don't
found my
have to-
home. I want to be
You don't
there.
have to sign on. You don't have to do this.
No, he's a 32.
Go to any one of a dozen other teams that aren't currently on fire, that aren't currently just the Aaron Rodgers dictatorship boogaloo. Like, what are you doing?
And who's
Oh my
the GM
God.
for this team? Does he have any backbone whatsoever?
No,
This is just
dude.
terrible. Like,
No, so Woody Johnson's so up his own ass. Do you know that he was the ambassador to the United Kingdom? Sorry, let me
I
say
didn't know
again.
that actually.
He
but
was the
yes.
ambassador to the United Kingdom. There we go. All right, and so now he is demanding that people refer to him as Ambassador Johnson. All right, I'm not
my
joking.
God.
I'm not joking. He's not Jets owner. He's Ambassador Woody Johnson. You have to say Ambassador Johnson. It's just like this guy that I love to say I told you so because I told you so, and I can't wait to see how the rest of this season goes. I am so excited.
Guys,
This is amazing.
I would like to formally nominate that from here on out, UK James is officially ambassador to Moron Grove. Can we make him Ambassador James?
Yeah, of course.
Moron
We've got a
Grove.
better
We
nickname
left
for
the
him,
mountain.
Moron Grove is where the juice junkies live. Moron Mountain is a very unique and special place.
I got you.
Guys, the Jets
still
are
on the property.
dumpster fire. We're going to talk about a little more a lot of dumpster fire talk. So let's move into Deshaun Watson.
So many.
It's officially, I mean, it was always bad, but it's officially like off the
really
tracks,
bad.
miserable.
Really, really, really bad.
And now all the reports coming out that they would bench him if they could, but the coaches won't. They don't have the power to do it because the owner said no, he's playing. So there's a dumpster fire.
$250 million.
No matter what he does.
Well,
so there's a power struggle
Stefanski-
between everyone.
Did you see the video where Stefanski like wants to go for it on 4th down and
he
Deshaun
walks
just,
off.
He just walks off and he's like, "No, we're good. We go grab a bite to eat. I'll come back around after I have a quick slice of pizza and
I was going to finish
Diet
this
Coke."
sandwich and then I'll be back.
They make a really good dipping sauce though.
Make a phone call.
Guys, he looks really
It's
bad.
so bad. Oh my god.
I mean, he looks like a shell of his former self as far as a leader. He doesn't want to run.
Ran Baker out of there for this
that?
dumpster fire, so that they could pay $250 million to construct this dumpster fire. Oh my God!
I mean, I guess who could have saw this happening after not playing for almost 2 seasons, being accused of sexual assault by 28 different women, losing all of your sponsorships? Who could have saw this coming?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And he didn't want to go to Cleveland. We should reiterate that because that's how funny this is. He was like, "I'm not going to Cleveland," and they said, "Well, here's a blank check. Now, do you want to come to Cleveland?"
Right?
Yeah, it was this close.
He was heading to Miami, and then they were like, "What if we gave you more money than God?"
And
it doesn't
guaranteed
matter
it.
how you play or anything like that. You just have to trot your ass out there every single game and just not care. He's like, "That'll work."
Okay, I can do that.
I mean, he's the reason
not
guaranteed
care and
contracts will never become a thing. This will never happen. He
Care and
ruined
get
it for
250
everyone.
mil? I could do that. I could definitely not care and get paid for it.
Out of that, I think I saw it somewhere. Out of the long list of quarterbacks before Deshaun, you'd probably take a handful of them over. Remember the jersey with all the taped names on it? There's probably half of those quarterback you would take right now over Deshaun Watson.
The way he's playing, absolutely.
Yeah.
I was gonna say.
I mean, you could have Baker. You could have had Baker continuing to step up and step into a leadership role and build a team around him that fits his unique play style. You could have actually had a decent team helmed by someone that is loved by your fans.
Yep.
And
Who's leading the NFL.
You feel bad for
blow it
the
all
fans. You feel bad for the fans.
Oh, 100%. Do
They're
you think those
just-
diehard fans, like they finally see the Browns turn the corner and have a quarterback who looks like he could actually lead them to relevance, actually, wins them some postseason games, and they're like, "Great. Thank you for that. We're going to go ahead and blow up all of them."
And also, we found out Joe Flacco is making the same amount of money as Jameis Winston. Joe Flacco, do we remember, took the Browns to the playoffs, and they didn't re-sign him because they didn't want to have a quarterback controversy, so they brought in Jameis Winston, the same amount of money. You could have Joe Flacco right now, who Joey hates, but he would be
hate
a
him
lot
with a
better than
fiery
Deshaun
passion.
Watson.
He is a lot better than Deshaun Watson, but I don't think he's a lot better than Jameis Winston. And Jameis Winston's a lot better than Deshaun Watson. Jameis Winston is the captain of that team. He should be starting.
Yes,
but he should be starting. And
Jameis Winston is just the Kool-Aid man.
What
I love it.
What the hell is this dude's deal? I mean, it's just, this is crazy. I don't think Anthony Richardson's any good. But
I know you said that.
Yeah, I don't think he's any good. But
you did have those feelings.
Yeah, and I kind of proved him to be right on that. I hate Joe Flacco, but understand it. The dude slings it. It's just crazy.
Joey, we'll give you.
How have you been proven right that Anthony Richardson is no good? He's injured.
Because when he plays, he's not good. He's not good. He had that one first game when he threw all those bombs, and everybody was like, "Okay, that's all he's got. Stay deep," and he sucks. Yeah.
I could see that.
Yeah.
Chris, should we give Joey a half breath take? Because Drake May has been named the starting quarterback of the New England Patriots. Joey, not a full breath. You just get a half breath. On your thoughts on this? Is it too soon? Are you ready for this?
However much time you think that O-line is going to give Drake May in the pocket.
Wait, hold on. Did Brissett get hurt, or
That's all the more time you
is this
get.
just an actual move? Because I don't know, Joe. Is this
No,
Jacoby
they made
Brissett?
the choice. Brissett is riding pine.
Oh, okay, Joe, take it away.
As I said, I wanted them to lose every single game of this season, and that still continues. I hope they continue to lose and get the number 1 overall pick in the draft. And I don't know how I feel about this. I feel like they should just keep developing Drake May, let Jacoby Brissett go out there. I think that there is a mutiny happening right now in the locker room, and I think this is the only thing that's gonna. I think that's the only thing that's gonna happen to help to bring this team together. Be like, we are trying to win now because with Jacoby Brissett, no, you're not. You're not trying.
Wait,
to win.
who set the wrong expectations that they were trying to win right now? I thought the whole world knew it wasn't happening.
The new coach. So my half breath is over, but the new coach Gerard Mayo, he comes in. We're gonna defy expectations. We're gonna win. They beat the Bengals on the. I almost said the Burrows. So yeah, they beat the Burrow Bengals on the first week, and everybody was like, hell yeah! And then it's gone bad. It's gone bad. They got beat by the God knows who is playing on offense. I mean, playing at quarterback, Dolphins. And that's about as bad as you can get. So first year, he has to win the locker room. He's going Drake May. I don't like it. And I'll say it again. If he's good, I'll get his jersey.
Okay. A lot on the line.
He just went, I don't like it too, but if he's good.
Single jersey sale out of this.
Yeah.
All right, guys, let's move to the rookie quarterback. Chris, I'm going to throw you this one because you love Caleb Williams. Was he the wrong pick compared to Jayden Daniels? The Commanders are the number 1 in the division right now. Caleb Williams is doing fine, I should say, but Jayden Daniels is lighting it up.
Yeah, I actually couldn't remember whether or not I said this on this podcast preseason or not, but I was high on Jayden Daniels coming out of college football. I was excited about him stepping into the NFL. And the comparison that I drew to Jayden Daniels was actually who we were talking about last week, Tim Tebow. Like, he's just a guy who just figures out what is necessary in order to get across the finish line. Do I need to sacrifice my body? Do I need to just be hucking bombs? Like, whatever needs to happen, he just has that nonstop drive, just that nonstop motor in order to do what's required of him and get across the finish line in whatever creative way is needed from him. I would love to see him sacrifice his body a whole lot less.
He's tiny.
He's not tiny. A big guy. And you look at some of the hits that he took back at LSU, and I think he was at ASU before that.
For 4 years.
Or maybe it was Arizona.
It was Arizona State. Yeah, he was a Sun Devil.
Yeah. But anyway, like, and now he's in the NFL, and all of those hits are a whole hell of a lot harder. He
with RG3 too, like the whole ghost of RG3.
Yeah, exactly, right? Like the legacy at Washington is exactly that. And so it's like, all right, let's see you take a little better care of yourself, put yourself on the line a little less.
You're not Josh Allen. You're not Josh Allen.
Because I'm worried he's crushing right now. It's awesome.
I'm worried Josh Allen's going to be Cam Newton. You know, he can't keep this up, dude. He cannot keep this up. Like, eventually everybody's body's going to break. And it's just like, I don't know, because let's look at the fall that Cam Newton had when he
it was the same head coach, Joe. It was McDermott.
Electric.
McDermott was Cam Newton's head coach, ran him into the ground, went to Buffalo. He's going to run him into the ground.
I'm worried that's going to happen. I love Josh Allen. That's, but you can't play like that. Lamar Jackson, he looks skinny. He's a big dude. Like Lamar Jackson's a big dude, and he has even changed his style. A couple of years ago, he ran for 1,200 yards, and so now it's just like he'll run when he has to, but he realized it hurts. It hurts getting hit by these 300-pound dudes, and it's
not good for anyone. So, Joe, you taking Caleb or Jayden? Is it too early to tell?
All the way. That, like, before the draft, I was praying that Jayden Daniels fell to 3 to the Patriots. He was my favorite coming out. I wanted him so bad. I said I thought that Caleb Williams is going to be a bust, and he's not a bust. He's not.
He's not. He's starting to figure something out.
He's playing better. Yeah, he's playing better. So my call of him being a bust is not looking good right now, but he's not lighting it up like everybody thought he would. He's getting better, but Jayden Daniels, he's throwing like 80% accuracy right now.
It's like 80% completion. Yeah.
And he's not just throwing dink and dunks. He's hucking it to Scary Terry, and it's like he's really good. And I guess that's all the Commanders needed. And I hate that name so much.
It's the worst name.
I hate
Washington football team. You can still call them the Washington football team.
Say
one. Man, gosh, we jump into college football was a crazy one. Chris, you have some of the
yes, it was, baby.
There was a lot of upsets. Off the top of my head, I know Mizzou got their ass kicked.
Yes,
Alabama
Mizzou
loses.
got their shit rocked by A&M.
Bad.
Fell
Who else
from
is
9 to
Alabama?
25.
Alabama goes down to Vanderbilt. I was at the Nebraska game, and every time, like on the little ticker, the Alabama score would come up, like the crowd would start cheering. And then in addition to that, Tennessee lost to Arkansas on what I would consider maybe one of the most boneheaded final plays I've ever seen. There's 3 seconds left. The quarterback takes the ball, scrambles to his right, and then runs out of bounds. Like, dude, there's 3 seconds left. Like, how do you not know to just sit back as long as you need to? Give yourself as much time. Like, doesn't matter if you take a sack there.
No.
Give yourself an opportunity to huck the pill. But instead, he ran out of bounds. And then the national championship replay, Washington versus Michigan. Washington kicked Michigan's ass.
Michigan's not good. You have to be able to throw the ball.
And last but not least, let's talk about Minnesota upsetting USC at USC.
Love it, baby. Welcome to Big Ten football.
Also, the best stats probably Boise State running back has more rushing yards than Michigan has passing yards this season.
Yeah, oh my God, of course he does. Of course he does. Michigan cannot pass the ball.
He has played 16 quarters of football.
That's crazy.
This entire season. He's putting up those insane stats, has only played like one full game. Otherwise, he's out for the second half or out for the entire fourth quarter. Like he's been in for the entire game once.
Gosh,
dude, because they don't need him because they're kicking the shit out of him. Well, besides when they lost, but that was too.
Yeah, that's not so good.
But,
What's our favorite storyline going to the conference, guys? I mean, it's just going to be Big Ten. This is where Big Ten SEC really.
Biggest storyline is to see how all these transfer schools compete when they have to play in conference. Like how is Texas going to do against SEC? How is Oklahoma going to do against
great
SEC?
So far.
I know it's like how is we already saw how USC is doing on the Big Ten level. I was going to see them go into Iowa and be like, oh my God, this is going to be a 9-3 game. And just like this
little Iowa after dark, a little spooky season Iowa.
Yeah, what the hell happened to the 56, 58 games in the Pac-12?
Oh, they don't
not Big Ten football, baby.
You're not going up against Stanford anymore.
We like to punt.
Yeah,
we love punters.
Yeah. The pill, especially Iowa. Gosh, dang it, guys.
Beautiful. It's a thing of beauty. Like, and the script is completely flipped. Like a short few weeks ago, top 4 was 3 out of 4 SEC, and now it's 3 out of 4 Big Ten. Like this weekend massively changed that top end of the rankings.
Stop the show. Stop the show. Breaking news, everybody. Can you hear me, Joe? We have reporter Joe out in the streets of Nashville. Joe, can you hear me? What are you seeing down there on Broadway?
Cody, what I just witnessed here is one of the most amazing feats of sports fandom in the history of sports ever. All right, what we just witnessed was one of the greatest upsets in the history of college football. Vanderbilt University, the absolute piece of shit of the SEC, just pulled off a victory against the #1 ranked Alabama 40-35.
Oh my gosh. What is this?
Wow.
Joe?
Holy shit.
Now, and during this game, 28,000 fans were there, and the majority of those fans were Alabama fans, expecting an absolute ass kicking like they did last year, 56-0. However, that did not go their way. And after this game happened, they stormed the field slowly but surely, and every Vanderbilt fan on the field ripped down the goalpost. And because there wasn't that many, it took 10 minutes to do so. After that, they took it upon themselves to take these goalposts and throw them in the river. However, this river was 2.4 miles away.
Wait, Joe, how did it get to the river?
How did they do that?
So, Cody, by the grace of God and the help of several bachelorette parties down Broadway, the police saw this mass of 20,000 people leaving a stadium, turned into 50,000 people coming down Broadway, and closed the streets. This took over Nashville. They marched it down the honky tonks. They passed the Kid Rock bar. They went straight down Broadway and threw it in the Cumberland River, right on the steps of the Nissan Stadium where the Tennessee Titans play. One of the most incredible things I have ever seen happen from a absolutely disgraced fan base Good for Vanderbilt. This is
Wait, Joe, you're saying they threw a field goal post in the river like a piece
into
of
the
trash?
river? Yes.
Okay.
They marched it 2.5 miles and threw it into the Cumberland River. Outstanding.
Thanks,
Back to you, Cody.
Stay safe, Joe. Stay safe.
Brilliant reporting as always.
A lot of bachelorette parties. Stay safe, my friend. Stay free. Yeah, you got your wedding ring on. Stay safe down there.
I'm good. Thank you,
Yes,
buddy.
sir. All
Yeah,
right.
I'm good.
Thanks, Joe. Oh, we'll be right back with Juice Boy Show. Stay tuned for the Big Top Sports Moron. Music break. All right, guys, welcome back. Thanks, Joe. Is Joe home safe? Did he make it? Did he catch his flight?
Yeah, I'm back.
Back.
I'm back.
Woo.
I'm back. I wish I was still in Nashville, but I'm
I'm sure Nashville misses you.
I bet. Oh, I bet. Guys, sports morons. We have squeeze of the week. Moron Mountain. Looks like we have a listener submitted one. Jojo, take it away, my friend.
Listener submitted this week is from our friend Mangrove Joe. All right, and before I read this, I just want to say I hope Mangrove Joe and all the people in Florida are safe this week.
Absolutely.
Oh my God, Hurricane Milton looks terrifying. It is hitting right as we speak, as we're recording this episode. So Mangrove Joe, stay safe. I love you, my friend.
Yeah.
His take this week was in response to our Pete Rose talk. All right, this is very interesting. He brought up this letter that I never saw before. It was Pete Rose to Rob Manfred. All right, now remember when we said last week that Pete Rose took the suspension because he didn't have to admit. So this was Pete Rose admitting his faults. Okay, and asking for. Okay, so there was good into that. Okay, all right. It is among my greatest regrets that I let down fans who believed in me and who love baseball. It is also my greatest regrets that I let down my teammates and everyone I ever shared a baseball field with. You can't imagine how painful it is when I see my teammates from the great teams I played on, the players I played against, go on and live their lives the way I wanted to. I want to be a part of that too, and I know I probably never will. I'm so grateful for the time I shared with them on and off the field. Nothing replaces it. People think you move on after you leave the game. You do in many ways, but the most important parts of baseball should grow even stronger. I screwed up. I'm asking you for forgiveness. Despite my many mistakes, I'm so proud of what I accomplished as a baseball player. I am the hit king, and it is my dream to be considered for the Hall of Fame. Like all of us, I believe in accountability. I am 81 years old and know that I have been accountable and that I hold myself accountable. I write now to ask for another chance.
Chris, did you hear?
I never knew that letter existed.
Dang.
I
Chris,
never
did you
knew
hear
that
the
letter
existed.
existed.
I'm sorry in there.
Oh,
fuck people.
Oh, I'm
Very
sorry.
interesting.
So that well scripted total ownership of my own mistakes and what went wrong and all of that. You're like, none of that matters. You didn't say the two words that I just randomly thought that.
No, because that's all they ever wanted him to do. So
no, there was a lot more. There was a lot more. I only read the last two paragraphs of the 5-paragraph letter, but he never says sorry in there.
Right. And he made a point not to say sorry.
Oh, shit, he does. I've
Does
apologized many times for betting on baseball games while managing the Cincinnati Reds and then denying that I did. I'm writing today for 3 reasons. First, because at my age, I want to be 100% sure that you understand how much I mean it when I say that I'm sorry. Second, to ask for your forgiveness.
Damn it.
And third, because I still think every day about what it would mean to be considered for the Hall of Fame. I should have read that. Sorry. But however, I thought
from
the last part.
Grave, Pete Rose, the hit king, just nails Cody to the wall.
Make me look like an ass. So what is Mangrove Joe's
So Mangrove
take?
Joe, thank you so much for showing me that. I never knew that existed. All right, so here's his take.
Yeah, that's wild.
I think this clearly shows that he admitted he gambled and asked for forgiveness. MLB can still keep the lifetime ban in place, and I agree that the ban should stand. Otherwise, MLB would have to reinstate the Chicago Black Sox. The Hall of Fame is a completely separate institution, has no obligation to keep Pete or any player from being inducted to the Hall based on off-field actions. All right, hashtag riding the storm out, hashtag Milton 2024. P.S. Kobe was a no-good, dirty rapist.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Thank you, Mangrove Joe.
Oh, wow. Real curveball right at the end there.
Chris, what do you think?
No, I can't help but agree. Like that is a contrite letter. To say that they have to reinstate the Black Sox, like, I guess sure.
They all apologized. They all took ownership.
Yeah, I mean I don't know that you have to, just because I don't think that you're going to receive nearly as much pressure versus like how many dudes were on the juice that apologized and were contrite and took ownership of that. Like, you can say that, yep, previous commissioners made their choices. I'm not going to overwrite that. But, recently in the last couple of decades, like, we have started to carve out pathways for people to make amends and find themselves welcome back into Major League Baseball. I think that there's still space for both, but I also wouldn't hate reinstatement of the Black Sox. Like, it was 100 years ago.
I agree with Joe's take, and that's because I made the same take saying you can't get in. That's a sacred rule of baseball. He broke the rule 70 years after the Black Sox.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so it's just like we knew that this would happen. So it's just like, and he made that choice. Unfortunately, this might be my ass principle coming out right now, but you made that choice, and there's consequences, dude. There's consequences for action.
I would only say,
Fair.
Since it is a separate institution, do you let him in and you put a giant asterisk by his, like, the story of Pete Rose? Yes, one of the greatest.
Or do what you said and just induct him, solely as a player.
Yeah, I still stand by like my half in, half out take of like, yeah, you can be inducted in as who you were as a player, and still hold like all pride as you want for your role as a manager, but you're in as a player only.
Yeah, and then also lay out the story too. Like, put Shoeless Joe in, but lay out the full story, because it is, at the end of the day, this is a Dan Patrick thought, but it's a museum. You're telling the story of baseball. You can talk through.
Very good point.
He's one of the best. Thanks, guys. Dan Patrick said it, so I'm going to take it as my own, and we'll call it good.
Thanks, Dan.
Thanks, Dan. Yeah.
Shout out to listener Dan.
Dan Patrick. He'll be on the show at some point.
Oh, I'm sure he listens.
Any day now.
He talks sports 3 hours a day. I'm sure he listens to us once a week.
Of course.
Yo, people like Mangrove Joe. Also, stay safe, Joe. We also didn't want to trash Joe in the middle of a storm. You
can't trash it. It's a good take.
It's a solid take.
You don't want to just trash the guy. I mean, he's going through a storm. You never know.
Yeah.
That's just bad voodoo. Joe, people like Mangrove Joe want to submit their squeeze of the week, Moron Mountain. How do they do so?
Juice junkies, listeners, hurricane holdouts. You can submit your most outlandish sports take or Moron Mountain nominee by emailing us at juiceboyshow@gmail.com, or send us a DM on Instagram at juiceboyshow. And if it has the then we'll read it on the show, just like we did with Mangrove Joe. Yes.
Hey, friend.
Metallica's coming this summer. Are we going?
Hell yeah, I would love to. I've seen Metallica like half a dozen times already.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Hey, buddy.
Who's sponsoring today's show?
Right behind me, I've got signed Metallica memorabilia from 20 years ago when I got to meet them.
Are you friends with Metallica? Did we not know?
I am best
Him and
friends.
James are tight.
Yep.
Tight.
Not large, though?
Today's episode of the
Lars-
Juice Boys Show is brought to you by Kansas City, Missouri.
Okay.
Boys, the votes have been counted and the results are in. Kansas City, Missouri has been named the greatest city in the world, boasting a population of 2.4 million residents, if you include the population from the clearly inferior Kansas City, Kansas. And we here at the Juice Boys Show honor you, Kansas City, Missouri, for this extremely prestigious accolade. In response to this great honor, residents of Kansas City, Missouri have been quoted as saying, duh. And only an idiot would ever choose to not live in Kansas City, Missouri.
Yeah.
Kansas City, Missouri is home to some of the greatest barbecue known to man, in addition to the Negro League Baseball Museum, and residents of Kansas City, Missouri have access to these things any day that they want. Kansas City, Missouri is also home to 3 major professional sports franchises, once again accessible on any given day to the people who call KC home. Isn't that super cool, boys?
Yeah, I like where you're going.
Oh, you're counting MLS. I was like, wait a second.
Kansas City, Missouri. Why the hell would anyone want to live anywhere else?
Hey, that sounded like all very kind words.
Yeah.
Wow. I respect that.
They have 2 teams in the playoffs right now as we speak. The playoffs are down 3-2.
Moving on, let's go to the big potato, the big Todd. I will be in attendance for Game 4.
I know, so why move on? This is a huge moment.
No, seriously. I mean, it sounds like the people of KC are basically begging you to stay.
Jeez, guys, let us play the big Todd game.
The big Todd game?
We've talked about a lot of dumpster fires. Deshaun Watson, the Browns. Probably the biggest dumpster fire in sports history.
Yeah.
We're going to call him the Roman Coliseum.
It has to be at this point. There's no, I can't think of any other worse, anything.
No. And then I would say the Jets right now are an absolute dumpster fire. A lot of dumpster fires in sports. What a time to be alive. We're going to go around the room this week, talk about the biggest dumpster fires you guys could find in sports. We kept it very vague. So a dumpster fire could be a player, an organization, an entity, a team, whatever you guys think. Let's see where your heads are at. Joey, start us off, my friend.
All right. So I've got 4, and this is hard for me to whittle it down to 2. All right. And I'm going to
start whittling.
No, I'm going to start with one that we skipped over baseball. And I'm a big baseball guy. The playoffs are heating up. And it's just I love baseball, and for God knows why, whatever the hell they're called, the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, back in the day, have never been able to figure it out. I'm saying the biggest dumpster fires, the biggest dumpster fires. I'm saying an organization, and I'm saying this as a Rockies fan. And this is for 3 specific reasons: Albert Pujols, Mike Trout, and Shohei Ohtani.
Who?
Guess how many playoff wins they have with those 3 people combined?
3.
3.
Oh my God, we nailed it. Wait.
No, it's actually 0.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and so
I was so high for a moment there.
They've been in 3. They were in 3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but they got swept. And so it's just that they have 0. Now, Albert Pujols, before he came in, was a 3-time MVP. He had his stats when he was a Cardinal are some of the most absurd statistics I have ever seen in my entire life.
Insane.
As a Cardinal for 12 seasons, 469 home runs in 12 years, in 12 seasons. Holy Jesus. All right. Almost 1,400 RBIs, 1,397, and he batted .326. Are you kidding me?
That's nuts.
3 MVPs. He finished twice, 4 times. All right. So 4 times he finished twice. He won 3 times. This dude could be pushing Barry Bonds at 7 MVPs. All right. What does he do as an Angel? Oh, all right. 10 seasons, 222 home runs, 783 RBIs, batted .256.
Got no knees.
Oh my God. And they spent the farm on him. All right. So they couldn't get anybody else. And then they got this magician on the baseball field, Mike Trout. Like, when he's healthy, everybody who is a baseball purist will say that he is one of the greatest talents the game has ever seen. Another 3-time MVP winner. Nothing to show for it. No. So then what do they get? The greatest talent that baseball has ever seen, and they're able to sign him. They're able to get it. He pitches, he hits. Another 3-time MVP winner, Shohei Ohtani. And what do they get? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. These are 3 first ballot Hall of Famers who were on the team at the same time. How does that happen?
Oh my
Only
God.
by lighting a dumpster on fire.
Yeah,
That's it. The Angels are the definition of dumpster fire.
And then they
have
signed Anthony Rendon to a bajillion dollars, who has done absolutely nothing but complain about his employer.
He has more DL days than hits. So, yeah, nice. Good for you guys.
Chris, can you beat the LA Angels?
Boys, I'm going with 2 options. The first makes me sad. The second makes me laugh. Let's talk about the Scott Frost era at Nebraska.
Wow, you just owned it. You owned it.
Oh my God. When I think of dumpster fires, and also, yeah, making reference to like, you two have witnessed me root for some of the worst Nebraska teams ever to wear the scarlet and cream. Those were under Scott Frost. So Scott Frost was hired in 2018 after an undefeated season at UCF and a historic, meteoric turnaround of a team that was just 2 years removed from a winless season. He was hired on in Nebraska. All of Nebraska fandom was united about the prodigal son returning to lead this team back to relevance after having been at the helm as quarterback during their last national championship. In his opening press conference, he was asked how he would adopt his play style to the Big Ten, and his reply, "I hope the Big Ten has to adapt to us."
Oh, Lordy.
He went on to post a 16-31 overall record as the head coach.
Oh, God.
And a 10-26 conference record in the Big Ten, and included 2 of the worst season records in Nebraska history, at least the worst in like the last 60 years. And then he was finally given a prove-it season in 2022, where if he was still the head coach on October 1st, his buyout dropped by like $8 million. And still Nebraska decided that his dog shit start to the season, including a loss to Georgia Southern, a team that Nebraska was a 3-touchdown favorite over. It was time to show his ass the door. And so Nebraska ate his full buyout rather than sitting through 3 more weeks of him sitting at the helm.
They said, who's got some extra corn they can cash?
Yeah, seriously.
We need some money.
That was like, being on the Nebraska like Reddit or subreddit or whatever. Like they were talking about how like, oh, it's happening. Like the boosters are reaching deep and being like, we don't give a shit what the cost is.
Like we're done.
Tell
with
us
this.
where to send the check. Get his ass out of here.
Chris, that's good growth. Good growth for you to talk about that. To just
it's so much easier to
tough.
talk about rooting for a 5-1 team right now.
That's a tough one. That's good for you. That's mature.
Yeah,
that's mature.
that took that. You are a real fan when you could admit you can admit that your team sucks.
Oh, it was so bad, and I watched every one of those games.
Yeah. Dang. All right. I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna keep it for baseball, Joe. I think the A's are close to a Roman Coliseum at this point, right? I mean, it's bad.
This last 3
terrible.
seasons. Yeah, I agree. Yes,
to
the
treat
last
your
2
fans,
decades.
yeah, to treat the fans how you did it, to not give them any money, where they make a movie called Moneyball because you gave them so little money they had to go figure out a new way to roster a talented team. That's how
so interesting. That made him so amazing. Because like, how the fuck did they do it? How could they possibly set the record for the most wins? How could they do this?
Right. But then the dumpster fire really comes with the owner saying he tried everything he could to stay in Oakland. That was a complete
Straight up lying. Being like, I'm worth billions of dollars.
He didn't even have a half-baked plan to go to Vegas. He just assumed that the government would want him and would pay for half a stadium on the Strip. He has no financing options. The city is kind of about him. They're going to put an outdoor stadium instead of a dome in Vegas. It's all half thought, half baked.
It just doesn't make any sense.
Feel bad for the players. Yeah,
they're going to die. They would die in Vegas without a dome.
Going to die. That's not even an exaggeration.
It's 115 degrees. Like, what are you doing?
It doesn't make sense. AAA teams were out attending the A's, a major league team. The sport's been played for over 100 years, and they are the dumpster fire. It's just, you can't fathom what he has done to the organization. He's an embarrassment.
The Juice Boys are going to buy them and move them to Anchorage. The Anchorage Athletics. It's going to happen.
Please. It's just so sad because with the team with the history with Ricky Henderson, dude. I mean, that dude, like he was incredible, and Reggie Jackson, Raleigh Fingers, Miguel Tejada, like Mark McGuire,
like just so much local buy-in and pride.
Yeah, it's just like three-headed monster they had at pitching. Barry Zeter, Mark Mulder, and Tim Hudson. Holy hell, that was incredible. You know, and there's just so much history there, and now. For what? I hope they go back. I hope they spend a couple of years in Sacramento and then they force John Fisher out and they go back. They deserve to go back. I know this is recent, and I know that, but besides the Deshaun Watson fiasco, is there a bigger dumpster fire that was the season of Nathaniel Hackett and Russell Wilson? I do not think it. I don't think it exists. All right,
bad.
when
Dude, Hackett is trash.
So let's set the story to non-Broncos fans. All right, juice junkies that are out there, Chet and Perth, you know, and
reach all the way back in your brain to 2 years ago.
So the Broncos fired a coach. They need another coach for the 1 millionth time after Gary Kubiak had too many heart attacks, I guess, and had to retire. All right, and so they're just trying to bring in anybody. And what did I just call Nathaniel Hackett earlier for Aaron Rodgers?
Wubby.
His whoopee. All right. And so who are we gonna get on to bring in the biggest free agent in the NFL this offseason? Aaron Rodgers, his whoopee, Nathaniel Hackett. They sold the farm to get this guy. They didn't talk to anybody else. They brought him in before anybody else could because I know that he was a hot commodity. All right. Now they bring him in expecting to get Aaron Rodgers. And what does Rodgers do? Goes to the freaking Jets. All right. So now they're stuck with this asshole and they have to go out and look for somebody else. And they come off with, let's ride. Russell Wilson. Gosh. All right. And Russell Wilson comes in. How does it go, boys? That season, they go 4-11. 4-11. And Nathaniel Hackett becomes one of only, I think, 3 NFL coaches to not make it through their entire first season. He was fired after week 16. This was the first season of a 17-game season. Then they brought in an interim coach for the last 2 games, and the Broncos actually started playing. And they actually won one of those games. And it was just shocking to see like the dumpster fire that was.
It's so bad.
Now, where has this left the Broncos? The Broncos traded Russell Wilson and agreed to pay his salary just to make him leave. Just to get him out of there. And he is benched for Justin Fields. Nathaniel Hackett just got another coach right out of town because his whoopee couldn't do anything without him. What a dumpster fire, and it continues to bleed into the rest of the NFL.
Ever.
What happens now to those Robert Salah brushing your teeth commercials? Like, do you have to pull the plug on those? Like, he's unemployed.
He could do more.
Like, he could use the money.
Yeah, he could do some more of that.
Is he that recognizable of a name to be like, not NFL coach Robert Salah?
Former. Yeah. Maybe he'll come on the show. Robert, come on. We know you listen.
Come on, dude. I know he listens.
You've got the time.
You definitely got the time. We're cheap.
Come trash Aaron Rodgers with us.
Of course.
Come trash the Jets.
That would be amazing.
I would love this.
On to the one that makes me laugh. Let's talk about Lane Kiffin and his time at USC. You boys familiar with this story? I know.
Oh, it was bad. Yeah.
I remember it was bad, but yeah.
All right.
Daniel Tosh.
So this is a story that I tried to like see how I could pare it down, and it just kind of can't be. Like he is the son of a defensive guru from back in the day, got his start as an OC at USC in 2005 with Pete Carroll, wound up somehow getting hired as the head coach of the Raiders at 31 years old and was fired no less than 2 years later and was called a disgrace to the organization by known piece of shit Mark Davis. When Mark Davis
my God, a disgrace to the organization.
You really dropped the ball. And that's just setting the tone. From there, he's hired on as the head coach at Tennessee. He spends one season at Tennessee. Pete Carroll leaves USC to go become head coach of the Seahawks, and he bails on Tennessee to step into that head coach position at USC. While USC was amid all of the controversy left by Pete Carroll and Reggie Bush, they were basically given not quite the death sentence by the NCAA, but about the closest that they could to one of their blue chip programs. Despite all these sanctions, Kiffin and the Trojans manage a 10-2 season in 2011. And in 2012, they start the season as the preseason number 1, while still under the sanctions. So I remember all the talk being like, what happens if once USC potentially is looking at earning their way into a national championship, but they can't go to any New Year's Six bowls? Like, what the hell even happens? Luckily, Kiffin had that taken care of because he led them to a disappointing 7-6 season, capped off by a bowl game performance in which it was reported that neither Kiffin nor the team was interested in being there. And it was capped. It was the game was ended with a fight in the locker room. People were pissed.
Checks out.
The university could feel that the wheels were coming off, and the fan base was out for blood to start the infamous 2013 season. USC gets off to an okay 3-1 start. They're heading out to Arizona State with high expectations to set the tone for this season, only to wind up with an extremely embarrassing loss to a perceived inferior team. And the team flies back to LA, landing at LAX at 3 a.m, at which point Lane is taken off the team bus and fired on the airport tarmac.
Oh my God.
The bus leaves back to USC. Now,
that's worse than Robert Salah.
I went back and did a little deep digging. It's quote unquote not strictly that he was fired on the tarmac. He was taken off the team bus as it was heading out to USC and taken to just some random office that they found at the airport.
Is it an Enterprise rent-a-car?
He was like walked into someone else's office at the airport and fired there so that he wasn't technically fired on the tarmac. But the best thing that I found is that Lane typically would have a buddy of his that was on staff come to his place. They would drive to the airport together, and then that buddy would they'd carpool back to his place rather than going all the way back to campus then home. He told that buddy, he's like, hey, I'm going to go spend the whole weekend at the office. I'm going to go hang out on campus and just start figuring out what needs to happen next. And that buddy happened to run into the AD, and the AD goes, what are you doing? He goes, I'm about to hop in Lane's car and take it home. He goes, pull the car around. He's going to need it.
Oh, my God.
Fired.
That's bad, dude.
At the airport. Couldn't even wait till the next morning. 3 a.m, your ass is unemployed. Head home. Call it a day.
That just means that the AD was like, I'm staying up till they get home. Like, he couldn't even fall asleep.
No, he was on the flight with them. He was on the flight with them. So part of me paring this down is that Kiffin went and sought out the AD to try and be like, hey, let's sort this out. Let's figure this out. Blah, 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 blah.
So
the AD decided I can't wait. I'm not going to be argued with. I'm not going to and Kiffin still claims that he thought that he had the AD talked into keeping him around until the AD talked to someone else. But the AD is no,
you're out.
It's 3 a.m. We're sleeping on our way back, and he wakes my ass up wanting to have a conversation about his employment. I'm like, all right, guess what, some bitch?
Yeah.
Here's where your employment is.
We're cutting this now.
Yeah. So I know Robert Salah was escorted out, so he couldn't say bye to his team. Lane Kiffin couldn't say bye to his team because they were gone. All right, so they
were already on the bus.
The bus left. All right, it's no goodbyes. The bus is see ya.
Oh man, guys, great rounds.
One of the best stories in all of college football.
I'm going to wrap us up with an entity.
Okay.
Let's talk about the dumpster fire that is the NCAA. Just overall.
Oh,
okay, yeah, that's fair.
Completely ruined everything. It all started with, kind of the one and done into the 1 year. It was a slow bleed with basketball. And then they tried to figure it out with, California came out, was like, no, we can pay players now. So they were way behind the 8 ball in the NIL money. That opened up the Wild West. Then the transfer portal happens. You used to have to transfer to a team for, was it a year or at least half a year, which was pretty much the football season.
Had to sit out a season.
It was like high school rules.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Zero organization, zero proactiveness, getting ahead of what could happen in the legal system. They're just a glorified organization that runs a March Madness tournament. At some point, the SEC and the Big Ten are going to start their own super conference. No one's going to really give a shit. They're just money hungry. They never wanted to pay players. They were behind the eight ball in every single possible way. And they are a dumpster fire to this day. It's not getting better. I don't see them getting any better.
I just don't even know how they became a thing.
Like, what power do they hold? Do they have any power?
Like back in the day, the NIT was the tournament. And then all of a sudden the NCAA became a thing and everybody has to just follow their rules. Like you said, the SEC and Big Teners can be like, no.
Yeah.
We're not gonna do that.
What teeth do you have to do anything?
Zero.
Yeah. And it's just like in the hypocrisy that they have and the way that they come down on certain things. The Ohio State tattoo scandal was a joke. That was an absolute disaster. Jim Tressel lost his job because the players got tattoos. Like what? So yeah, I completely agree with you. They are a ridiculous organization. The way that they're trying to get more fandom by increasing it from 64 to 68. Now they're saying maybe 96. It's just like, Jesus Christ.
Just a money grab.
That's not how you get more fans, by expanding the field. They want more competitive play. They want that's it. They want more competitive play. And the SEC and the Big Ten are going to leave because of that.
And I'm excited for it. I mean, the whole thing's just the Wild West. There's no rules.
Oh, honestly, I think if you were to pull the thread of like, how the hell did we get to this moment right here? I think the issue with Jim Tressel and the whole tattoo gate and all that sort of shit would actually stand out as a really big moment at which all of a sudden the Big Ten and Ohio State wind up just kind of looking around and going, what the hell is
what do you
the
do
NCAA?
again?
What are they doing pretending that they have this level of sway, this level of power? Like, we are one of the premier programs in the entire country, in one of the premier conferences in the entire country. Like, in what way are we allowing just this old ass, like, unnecessary governing body to carry so much influence? Like, I bet that through the lens of time, once we're out of this Wild West, like, that is actually probably one of the dominoes that started to fall that led to things such as they are now.
Oh, and they're the kings of the investigation 15 years late. It was like, oh, Derrick Rose cheated on the ACT. Well, that's cool, bro. He just signed like $50 million for the Bulls. You can't do shit about it.
What are you going to do?
Congratulations.
Oh yeah, did you see that? What's his name? The head coach at the Raiders is now banned from coaching in the NCAA for the next 8 years.
Yes, Antonio Pierce.
Okay,
yeah, Antonio Pierce. Yeah.
It's laughable. The whole thing's laughable. Anything.
Harbaugh's going to get the same ban. It's just like, oh, you can't coach him. Okay, I already have a job. Thanks, guys.
A 4-year ban. Oh, I have a 4-year contract. That's so cool. Like, so they are so behind the eight balls on investigating. Everything's slow. Everyone's gone by the time it happens. Fuck the NCAA.
Remember, Juice Junkies, enraged college fans, anybody else who listens to this show, you can continue to listen to the show on all major podcast networks and YouTube. Please follow the show and rate the show and leave us a review through Apple. We need more reviews. I want Please. And we encourage you to follow the YouTube and Spotify channels. Push that subscribe button. Also, be a friend. Tell a friend about the podcast. Join our Juice Junkie community. We would love to have you. Cody, back to you.
That almost does it. Picks time, boy. Pick time, boys. Man,
Pick your time.
Speaking. Chris, how we do last week? Who's starting us off? How the
Fellas, we are just at an alarming consistency here.
Not good.
So everybody went 1 and 2 except for me.
Damn it.
I went 0-2 and 1. Nebraska pushed their spread.
Yes, they did.
Yeah, that was it.
I lost money on that.
Yeah, so McCoy, we'll lead you off first, then Joe, then Joe, then me.
I did not. Let's go Bengals -3.5 over the Giants. I hate the Bengals with a passion. But offensively, they're playing well. Like, Joe is playing well. Jamar Chase, the defense can't stop anybody.
Solid stats, yeah.
I think they can stop Danny Dimes. Give me 3.5 for the Bengals.
Derek Carr's got an oblique injury, and he's out. And I hate Spencer Rattler. I think he sucks. Spencer Rattler is starting this week. I'm taking Tampa Bay -3.5.
I have that on mine. I like it. I like it a lot.
Chrissy.
Oh, boys. Let's go Bills at Jets under 41. I think both of these offenses are just lackluster right now.
I'm going to stick with the Bills and Jets. I'm going to take Bills -2.5, guys. I don't know why Robert Salah being fired only... I mean, I don't unless you go for the, you get a new coach, you play well? Is that what the...
Because Aaron Rodgers has been the coach this whole time.
Yeah. But Aaron Rodgers sucks, so that's a good pick.
I'm going to go Bills -2.5. Give me that.
All right, another team that everybody just thinks is good. They're not. Dallas Cowboys. Detroit -3. Come on, Detroit. Pound the Cowboys.
Hell yeah, boys. Let's go ahead and make a swing over to college. Purdue at Illinois. I'm going under 48.5. Purdue is not good. And so Illinois is going to have to cover 45 of those points, 42 of those points in order for that over to hit. Because Purdue is just not putting up points.
I'm going to take Alabama over 50. I don't want to be the team that has to play Alabama on the road after a loss. They're playing South Carolina. I just wouldn't want to be the team after that. That was an intense week of practice. I assume they're going to come out.
They got riding my Iowa, baby. Even though they got their asses kicked by Ohio State, they hit the under. That was my win. That was my win last week. Now they're going up against Washington. Not a lot of points scored in the Michigan-Washington game. I can see the exact same thing happening because they're playing Iowa. So Iowa-Washington under 42.
All right, and McCoy, I'm joining you on the Alabama train. I'm taking Alabama -21.
They're just going to be angry.
I imagine that they're going to bring in Nick Saban into that locker room to just scream his face off for this entire
So that would demoralize DeBoer. I mean, oh my God.
I mean, he's still on staff.
Fine.
Yeah, he's still on staff. Not acceptable.
Just seeing Saban walk in, those kids are going to shit.
Oh my God, I would.
Yeah, I would too. Yeah.
I'm prairie dogging just thinking about it. All right, boys. Wheel of Degeneracy. As always, on the wheel, we've got home spread, away spread, over, under, and I take a shot this week.
Let's go, baby.
On the wheel, we've got Falcons at Panthers. We've got Ohio State at Oregon. And we have Colts at Titans. Let's go ahead and give her a spin, see what we are looking at. Away spread.
Away spread.
Okay, so we've got Falcons -6 at the Panthers. Up next, we've got Ohio State at Oregon. So 2 versus 3. That's going to be a hell of a showdown. Let's take a little look-see. Over. Actually, don't hate that. Over 53.5.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Dude, Wheeler Dejan's looking pretty good now.
Yeah, I can't say that I hate it so far. And last, we have Colts at Titans. Let's take a little look-see with what the wheel likes. Away spread again. All right, so Colts +2.5.
Oh, so, Joe Flacco?
Big Joe Flacco fan, the Wheel of Dejan. Let's go, boys.
Boo, Joe Flacco.
Boo, Joey. That's the end of the show, damn it.
Boo, Joe Flacco. He's the name Joe.
Boo anyone named Joe.
It's a good name, damn it.
Terrible name. Terrible ending to the show. Guys, 62 is in the books. Royals just lost. I'm depressed. I'm still going to the game tomorrow.
It's gonna be.
I hate spending money on a potential I gotta watch them lose. I don't like that.
So when this comes out, the people will know the fate.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And that I'm heartbroken.
No.
Sad drinking or happy
drinking? They're gonna win, bro. They're gonna win.
Look at Joey ruffle up his feathers as if a week ago he chose not to bet on the Royals, but he wants you to bet on them.
All right. Love. We'll see y'all next week. Send it in. Follow us on Instagram. Join the Juice Jack community. Mwah.